Hey there, Seb the Realtor here. Are you wondering what's in store for the Bay Area real estate market in 2025? Is it going to be a good year or a bad year for buyers or sellers? If you want to know what's coming down the pike for the Bay Area real estate market in 2025, then you definitely want to watch this video. All right, well, here we are at the end of 2024, on the cusp of 2025. I can hardly believe it. And everybody wants to know what's going to happen to the Bay Area real estate market in 2025. Well, gee, I sure wish I had a crystal ball, because the future is notoriously difficult to predict, especially I feel this year in 2025. Now, we just had a fairly consequential presidential election, and I don't know what your politics are, and frankly, I don't really care all that much, but nevertheless, change has been promised to us. We have been promised that there will be massive changes coming to the way the United States is run, and frankly, it is difficult to know how those changes, if any of them even come about, how they might impact real estate prices here in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. Well, before I get any further, would you do me a favor? Would you mash that subscribe button right there and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and click that little bell to make sure that you get a notification every time I put up a brand new fun or sometimes speculative video, kind of like this one. So it's very difficult to say with any degree of accuracy what's going to happen in 2025. But I am of the opinion that the economy is just such a large behemoth that it is difficult to make any kind of change that will really derail its fundamental direction. And so I think the fundamental direction is pretty clear. I think we're going to have something that's very similar to what we've had in the past, which is a imbalance of supply and demand, which is continuing to keep real estate prices high. Now, pricing in the Bay Area and everywhere all across the country and all across the world is basically a function of supply and demand. And what have we had for many years now in the Bay Area? We've had a shortage of supply. There is just not very many houses for sale in the Bay Area. And in fact, nationally, I heard this the other day, that there are right now today only about 700,000 homes actively listed for sale that are not already in contract or sold or withdrawn or expired or canceled. Okay, 700,000 listings across the United States out of a population of, what are we now, 330 million, 340 million. Nationwide, there isn't very much inventory, and certainly locally in the Bay Area, there are only really a few thousand single family homes for sale. And of course, there are condos and townhouses and duplexes and triplexes and mobile homes and apartment buildings, right? But overall, there just is not very much for sale here in the Bay Area, and that is likely to continue in all of 2025. I don't see anything that's going to come along which is really going to boost supply all that much. Now, on the other side of that equation, of course, is the demand. How is the demand going to be holding up in 2025? I think that the Bay Area economy is going to continue to do very well and will continue to outperform the nation as a whole. Unemployment actually is very low in the Bay Area, even with the layoffs that we've had, and actually are seeing an increase in wage growth as well in the Bay Area. But the Bay Area really is dominated to a very large extent by the equity market, the stock market. That is really what pumps so much money into the Bay Area housing market, is the buyer pool who frequently tap their stock market portfolios to get hundreds of thousands, or in cases millions of dollars, to use for their down payment. Now, have you looked at the stock market lately? Lately, the stock market has been on a tear. A lot of people have seen, since the aforementioned presidential election, they have seen their stock portfolios boom. Now, obviously, what is the thing that happens after a boom? It is a bust, right? Boom and bust. That is how the cycle works. But we don't know when exactly that next bust is going to be. It could not be in 2025. Maybe it's going to be in 2026, but probably at least for the next several months, months. I don't think there will be a bust in the next several months. There will be a lot of equity which Bay Area buyers are able to pour into the market, and that will help keep prices high even in the face of these high mortgage rates. Now, we can say that mortgage rates aren't really all that high by historical standards, and they are not. They're actually pretty much, I think, average for what we've seen over the past 30 years or so, but it feels high compared to where they were several years ago. But I think that consumers are telling us, and they are showing us by how many houses that they're buying, that they have acclimated to where mortgage rates are today. But how are they going to be tomorrow? A lot of people are still thinking that mortgage rates are going to come down. Now, the Federal Reserve has said that they will be decreasing their rate, but there really is no correlation between the Fed rate and mortgage rates. It's just sort of coincidental if they move together. The mortgage rate has much more to do with the yield rate on U.S. Treasury bonds, but many people are saying that the Fed will continue to cut rates in 2025 and that mortgage rates will be decreasing. Now, how much lower might mortgage rates go? I don't think that there's really anybody who thinks that they're going to go much below, if anything, below 6%. I just personally, I don't feel like that because, normally when mortgage rates go up, they go up very quickly, and typically they take a very long time to go down. So I'm not really expecting there to be much relief in the way of mortgage rates at all in 2025. I could be mistaken, obviously, but they could also go up just as easily if you ask me. But I don't think that really matters all that much for the Bay Area real estate market because prices here are driven so much by the equity markets, right? That is where people in many cases get the money that they use to pay for these down payments on these houses. And many of these buyers, they are frankly quite affluent and they have a lot of money and they are not that sensitive overall to mortgage rates. Now, one of the challenges that we saw in 2024 and in 2023 was the difficulty that buyers were experiencing getting insurance for their homes. In fact, I read the other day that about 13% of transactions fell apart because buyers were unable to secure affordable insurance. But the good news is that the state of California insurance commissioner has caved, and there are new rules coming for 2025 where the insurance companies will be able to price their offerings based on projected risk and projected losses rather than actual losses they have sustained so far today, which actually have not been all that great. But going forward, there was a tornado in Scotts Valley the other day, and there was a tornado forecast for downtown San Francisco. Climate change, fact or fiction. I think it's safe to say that climate change is real at this point, but the insurance companies are going to be able to price their policies based on a future expectation of losses based on their risk matrix that they come up with. So while we will see higher insurance prices, I think, surprise, there will be greater availability of insurance, and that will help buyers out, I think, and it will help sellers out as well because they won't have to have their transactions fall apart due to lack of insurance. All right, so we've talked about insurance, and we've talked about mortgage rates, and we've talked about the employment numbers and wage growth, and we've talked about how crucial the equities markets are to the health of the Bay Area real estate market. Now, what about my forecast? Do I have a forecast for what's going to happen to the real estate market in terms of the number of sales or the number of prices? And the answer is no. No, I do not have a forecast, but I have been listening to some other forecasts out there. And statewide, I believe that we are expected to see somewhere around a 4 to 5% increase in sale price for the state of California as a whole. In the Bay Area, it really does depend on what part of the Bay Area that you are looking at. The Bay Area is a huge and diverse economy, and there's many cities and of course neighborhoods in there. But I think that like San Francisco, Zillow is predicting that San Francisco is actually going to see a drop in home prices by about 2.3%, and they are predicting that San Jose is going to see, I think it is a 0.3% increase in sale price. Now, Zillow does not have any more insight or secret information that anybody else does not have. I think that we are likely to see probably more of an increase in San Jose and probably less of a decrease in San Francisco based on how things feel to me, and assuming that in fact when we do see these radical changes which have been promised to us, that they actually will not appear to be so radical after all once all the dust settles. Now, me personally or professionally, I'm not expecting there to be much of a change in home prices at all. Certainly, I don't think we're going to see an increase increase or decrease of more than, say, 5%. That would be pretty unlikely if you ask me, given everything that I've seen and read and heard and felt so far working in the market. But another big question is how many homes are going to sell? You know, one of the defining characteristics of the past several years has been the small number of transactions. We are selling about half as many homes today as we were 10 years ago, even though there are more people living here, considerably more people living here today than there were 10 years ago. So I think that what we have here in the Bay Area is a very big backlog of sales that have yet to happen. And I think that a number of them will be happening in 2025. I'm expecting that we will be seeing about a 10% or perhaps even a 15% increase in the number of sales in 2025 versus 2024. Now, that is still down quite a bit from where we were 10 years ago, but if you are thinking about buying or selling a home in 2025, I do expect that the market will have a lot more movement. Yes, that means that there will be more inventory for buyers to choose from. There won't be necessarily lower rates or lower prices, but I think at least buyers will have more to choose from, and sellers should know that there probably will be more buyers in the marketplace, because what brings out buyers? It's choice. When buyers feel that they actually can buy a house that they want at a price that they can afford, they're much more likely to be out there in the market. So I have a feeling, based on everything that I have seen, that I have read, and that I have felt in the marketplace, that 2025 is shaping up to be a significantly improved market for both buyers and sellers. So if you are thinking about making a move in the Bay Area in 2025, whether you're buying or selling, know that it is shaping up to be really a pretty good year for the Bay Area real estate market. All right, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy watching this video, and if by any chance that you did enjoy watching it, you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do take a look. All right, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.